Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? No, these aren't my blue light glasses. These are my prescription glasses. Definitely not my blue light. Vash, you just hit for your stream streak. Okay, I see you. All right, let's go ahead and get TikTok in here. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's get TikTok in. I hope everyone is having a wonderful evening. And sorry, I'm still not feeling 100%, but I want to make sure that we have a really good live this evening. So I'm gonna push through the best I can. So my energy might not be exactly where it needs to be, but I'm gonna try to get there for sure. I'm gonna try to get there for sure. Hey, Blue Barbie, how are you? Hello, 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 hello. Welcome in this evening, beautiful people. If you don't mind, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin and will boost the live and push us out to the FYP. This is Late Nights with Santana. FYI, this is not a debate. We are not debating. We are not debating. There are no debates tonight. This is a panel discussion, and we are here. We are here. We have the daily gift goal of the pink heart puffs. If you are over on TikTok, if you don't mind, go ahead and knock those out for me a couple of times. That'll help boost the live as well. Keep tapping the screen. Do all the wonderful things to let the TikTok know that we are in the building. This is a panel discussion. So this is night three of our 4 nights of panel discussion. So if you haven't had an opportunity to actually join the conversation, this is your chance. Go ahead and hop in the request, and I will start bringing people in just a few moments. So again, guys, please tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me, share the live to your stories and to your reposts. That will help boost the live as well. Am I lagging for you guys? Did I lag? TikTok is studio's been acting kind of weird, and not just for me, but just for like everybody. I can see the lag. Give me a second. All right, is this better? Is there any lag still? Just keep moving just to test it. Yeah, I think we are. I think we're good. I think we are good. Think we're good. All right, guys. Like I said, this is Late Nights with Santana. This is a panel discussion. Please tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin and will boost live and push us out to the FYP. Right now we have the daily gift goal. It's the little pink heart puffs. If we can knock those out a couple of times, it will absolutely help boost the live. Let's see here. All right. Looks like we just about have everyone in here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, if you're interested in joining the conversation, this is night 3, and we're talking about a multitude of things, specifically how these communities are negatively impacted with dehumanizing terms. We're breaking down isms and phobias. We're looking at the language of inhumanity. We're taking a look at eye for an eye, we're all harm, talking about the bilateral harm that is caused by engaging in these premises. And then, of course, we want to take a look at the back to the future, which that means that we want to take a look at the history of these actual systems and terminology, and how that actually has had a continuous cycle and how we could possibly break the cycle. So if you guys are interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and request up. We're going to start getting people up here in just a moment. Let's go.
Yeah, this ain't your regular panel. Nah, we speak the truth. Late nights with Santana and Mama Jones watching. Better keep it clean. Let's go. Late nights, truth in the convo. Everybody get a seat at the table. From the block to the books, we mindful. No screaming, just dreams and the Bible. One mic, one voice, we build bridges from the heart of the hood to the world's big issues. Politics, pay, different cultures, but the real ones listen before they rebuttal. Late nights with Santana, yeah. Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this a purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot, but we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already knew. Late nights with Santana. Late nights, no static. No highlight reel, this the soul's reflection. No shade throwing, just connection. From streetwise truths to deep reflections, we turn hard talks into blessings. They say they run the game, we build new rules. We here to heal, uplift, and break the old rules. They kept us boxed in, divided by fear, but you find us lined up when the truth appears. Yeah, weekly topics, hearts wide open. No judgment, just motion. Real ones are talking, no cussing. Cause Mama Jones still watching, no fronting. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already knew. Late nights with Santana. Late nights, no static. Yeah, Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this a purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot, but we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this a purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot, but we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Weekly topics, hearts wide open. No judgment, just motion. Real ones are talking, no cussing. Cause Mama Jones still watching, no fronting. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already knew. Late nights with Santana. Late nights with Santana. You already knew. Late nights with Santana. Late nights. Late nights with Santana. You already knew. Late nights with Santana. Late nights.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. This is Late Nights with Santana. And guys, this is a panel discussion where each and every one of you are welcome for the conversation. The conversation that we have been working on this week is ensuring that we understand the negative impacts of the demonizing terminology and the systems that continue to affect marginalized communities. That being said, I'm going to keep it absolutely a buck with you guys. I am feeling kind of crappy, and I'm not awesome, but I'm here, and we're going to push through it. And so I need all of your participation. I'm actually going to lean on you guys heavily tonight. So what I need is everyone locked in. I need you guys tapping screen, sharing the live, sending your daily heart me. I need people joining the conversation and ensuring that we are able to have a fruitful conversation that is filled with information, education, and entertainment. So with that being said, I kind of want to start here. I want to share something with you guys because when building out this, and if you're in the request, I'm going to start bringing people in here in just a moment. Building out this actual week, I think that there's a lot of people who seem to be within the community. They don't understand the bilateral harm they can cause with whether it's their terminology or the lack of understanding of marginalized communities and how things continue to affect people. And I had a couple of things that I wanted to actually address as a topic. I'm sorry, the goal for this week. Number one, I wanted to address the harm that is currently being done and why it seems to be acceptable. That's one of my goals for this week. Number two, I want to expand the understanding behind the why of these systems and terms that are being used. That's important. Number three, I wanted to give a voice to people that are part of these communities to address any blind spots that people may have and not know when it comes to marginalized communities. Number four, I wanted to build a foundation so we can actually build a foundation for future late nights so we can actually strengthen and deepen our understanding of all these things. And number five, I wanted to actually provide support and aid to those people looking for resources and self-improvement, because we should all be trying to be the best versions of ourselves, right? So that is the overall arching premise of why I wanted to actually have this week. I got a video that I'm going to start with after I get people in, and we're going to run through all of this, and we're going to try to make sure that we're focused on improving as a whole. So if you guys don't mind, keep tapping the screen, share the live. Right now we have the daily gift goal. It's the little music notes. That's the gift goal for right now. If we can keep knocking those out, it'll help boost live and push us out to the FYP. If you are over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button, please, please, please. It'll help boost the live and push more people over to the VOD. As I bring you guys in, please, please, please mute yourself. Please, please, please mute yourself, and I will start to actually I'll do a quick introduction and then we'll get things going. 1 second here. And we have Renegade over on YouTube. Renegade, can you hear me okay over on YouTube?
I hear you just fine. I just muted up early for you.
Perfect, perfect. I just wanted to make sure you were here. All right, guys. We're going to do a quick introduction, and after we hit the quick introduction, I got a video that I want to play, and then I'm going to get some feedback from a couple of people, and then we'll go from there. So first and foremost, Ari. Hey, Ari, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm here. Yeah, we're going to see how things go. Ari, can you tell the people, are you a part of any marginalized communities, and if so, which ones?
Yep, I am Black, queer, disabled, and a woman. And if we're going off what Noah said, I'm a socialist. So, ooga booga.
Yeah, okay. And as a follow-up question, how well do you feel like you understand other marginalized communities outside of your own?
Never enough. I don't, for me, you guys know I'm a nerd. So I don't even think there's ever enough knowledge. So not enough.
Okay, perfect. Give me a second. Jika, is that how you say your name, Jika?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Hi, Jika, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Jika, can you tell the people, are you a part of any marginalized communities, and if so, which ones?
I'm a transgender woman, and I'm also pansexual.
Okay, perfect. And how do you feel about your knowledge overall as far as other communities outside of your own?
Well, like Ari said, never learn enough. That's why I love coming to these lives, because I've been learning a lot in the last while. So.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. 1 second. Dark Lamb, how are you?
I am okay. How are you?
Good. Dark Lamb, can you tell me, are you part of any marginalized communities, and if so, which ones?
The first and main one is I'm a part of the disabled community, and I'm biologically a woman, but I'm non-binary. I don't really care about any sort of pronouns. I'm also a mixed person who has dealt with a number of
You mean biracial?
things. Triracial.
Okay, what that we're gonna talk about that. Well, that'll be like one of the first things we'll start. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Perfect. Give me half a second here. And last but not least, Renegade over on YouTube. How are you?
I'm doing all right tonight, man.
Good. Renegade, can you tell the people, are you a part of any marginalized communities? And if so, which ones?
I am a disabled combat veteran, and I'm also the father of a trans son.
Okay. Perfect. And how do you feel about your understanding of other marginalized communities outside of yours?
I feel like it can only improve. I think I've made a lot of strives for improving my understanding, especially considering where I came from. I was raised in a super conservative religious household and had a lot to unpack from my misogyny and racism and stuff that I'm constantly trying to unpack now.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Perfect. Thank you so much. Give me a minute. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. When getting into these conversations, I want to remind people on the panel just a couple of things. First and foremost, guys, please use TikTok friendly language. What does that mean? That means that we don't deal with any of the isms, racism, sexism, classism. We don't do any of the phobias, homophobia, transphobia, none of that. We don't play it on the panel nor in the chat. Speaking of the chat, please be mindful. Caps are for mods. Please do not use caps because they will draw my attention away from the panel and to the chat, and we really want to be able to have these conversations. Also, just a special side note, please be respectful of the mods. If you guys see the mods directly speaking to you about something that you've said or done, please take the correction and let's move forward, because the mods are an extension of me. And if you respect our space, our community, if you want to be here, then we want you here. But if you can't actually respect what the mods are saying, then respectfully you can leave. Please understand that they are trying to help guide the conversation from the chat. They are an extension of me. Please and thank you. I'm gonna ignore this for now. Joanna, I really don't think they're okay. I'm gonna ignore for now. With that being said, guys, like I said, I'm not feeling 100% this evening, so I'm going to count on all of you to actually help get us through this evening. So I need everyone actively engaged. I need you guys tapping the screen, sharing the live, sending your daily heart me's, knocking out the daily gift goal. Right now, it's the little finger hearts. If you're over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. It'll help push out the VOD. And if you enjoy the live, if you enjoy the late nights, then please consider supporting it. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links and link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you is the best way to support late nights, just like Melissa. W's in chat for Melissa, who I'll do that right now. Melissa, W's in chat for Melissa for the $1 donation, guys. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. All right, guys, I'm going to play a quick video. And I want to get the actual feedback from the people on the panel, and then we'll go ahead and blow out this conversation and go from there. So give me a second.
You really don't.
Renegade, I'm going to turn off your camera just for a second. So this is a video that I actually found while scrolling through the TikToks, and it was super interesting. And I just want to get your feedback on what's being said and, just the overarching premise of what we are viewing. All right, here it goes.
You really don't know racism until you're in an area where it's like all diverse and you're the only white person and you can't even get a job because you're white. But only white people are racist, right?
Okay, so interesting thing about this video, apparently this young lady is in an area that is populated by non-white people, and she's feeling the impacts of being in said area filled with non-white people, and is saying that she is actually experiencing racism. And not only is she saying that she's experienced racism, she's saying that this proves that white people can experience racism. So let's start with, I actually want to start with Dark Lamb. Dark Lamb, what were your
Yes.
thoughts on that video? What feedback do you have about what we just saw?
Honestly, it kind of made me speechless for a second. I don't really believe that that white people experience racism in the way that they're trying to say that they experience what any like the Black community, the mixed community, any people of color experience.
Did you say mixed community?
Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
I'm
so
nervous.
let me start here. I guess I should. I apologize. Let me baseline this one. You're biracial. There's no such thing as well, you're not a puppy, right? And you're not paint, so don't call yourself mixed, because that's part of the dehumanizing terminology that we're actually looking to combat with learning this week. So like
Sounds
allowing
good.
yourself to be called mixed would infer that you're some type of animal, and you're not. You like, you're not an animal. You are absolutely a biracial person. I know that's something that, you know, a lot of people have perpetuated those titles, and they might not understand or know those things, but we just definitely want to stay away from that, and that's why, because
Understood.
like that's the people using that towards biracial people shows a lack of humanization of them. Now you said triracial. Now that's a interesting thing. Can you tell me um, what's do you know what race is?
I feel like I can learn a lot more about what it means. Because personally speaking, my life, I haven't really grown up around people that have really discussed anything like that. And whenever I was referring to like being mixed, it's just something I've heard like my whole
Right, right.
life.
We still
And
want to
I
stop saying
recently,
that, but yeah, but no, and so just someone in the chat said, would multiracial be the correct term? No, multiracial would not be the correct term, because what race is, and I actually had to learn that myself as well. But I got you. So race is a grouping of socially acceptable phenotypical characteristics. It was created for the othering of non-white people, and it was created for the othering of non-white people to create a free and cheap labor force, right? So just to make sure that we baseline this, race is not biological. Race is not something that's always been. Race was actually created by a Portuguese man by the name of Gomez Inez de Zurara. So the premise as far as race, it's not something, it's a little confusing to a lot of people, because people tend to have a lack of understanding between the difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality. So there's that. But um, any chance you know what the 5 racial categories that are in the United States of America?
I want to say yes, but I don't think I do.
You can take a shot. It's okay.
The 5 racial categories. Do we mean like? I, I'm just gonna say no.
Okay. All right. No worries. So we have Black / African American, white, Pacific Islander, Indigenous, and Pacific Islander, and Asian. I was about to say, which one am I missing? So those are the 5 racial categories that are currently listed within the United States of America. Now, there is a conversation, and I'm not exactly sure if they're going to solidify this, but there is a conversation around when the next census is done for the United States of America, adding biracial people to the census. And the reason being is that it's one of the fastest growing demographics within the United States of America. But those are the 5 categories by the United States of America. Someone said, what happened to Hispanic? Hispanic is not a race. Hispanic is an ethnicity. So the reason why a lot of people have issues with understanding race, ethnicity, and nationality is because it's multi-leveled, and people actually people kind of conflate those things. Ari, not to tokenize you, but can I tokenize you for a second?
Go for it.
Ari, can you tell the people what is your race, ethnicity, and nationality?
I am Black. You said ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm African American and Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
And my nationality, unfortunately, is American, but I go by Puerto Rican too, because that's a nationality as well, because we're a colonized nation.
Yep. So when you talk about it, Hispanic non-white is on the list. That's not one of the 5 socially 5 racial categories of the United States of America. Hispanic people can be Black and be Hispanic. People can be white and be Hispanic. It's based off of the groupings of the phenotypical characteristics. So for people who are like really fighting and saying, oh, Hispanic is not a race, I'm just gonna flat out just go right there. Hispanic is not a race. Stop saying Hispanic. So Dark Lamb, coming back to you. Can you tell me, because you were saying quote unquote triracial, triracial, but you're biracial. So what's the race of your mother?
My mother is half white and half Black.
Okay, so she's
And
biracial, but what does
yes.
she present as? Does she, the phenotypical characteristics is the way that you present to the world, right? So when the world looks at your mother, does she see someone that looks like a white woman, or does
Black
you know what?
woman.
Hold on, I got it. This is an example that tends to help people. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, guys. I think this is important, just to contextualize for a lot of people. No, I don't want the web version. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna add this to the screen here. Image. Okay. So for Twitch landscape, I know you guys only see one person at one time. I'll add the other image next. All right. Darklam, you may not know these two people, but the person on right here, that's Logic. Do you know Logic?
Isn't that one of the people you co-host with sometimes?
Which one?
Logic, the white person. Well, I don't know. I know that I've heard you speak of Logic. Or...
I'm actually genuinely interested now.
I'm mixing up one of the other. I'm so sorry.
I'm like genuinely. I want to know which one of my white friends is Logic. No. Okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. There's someone I'm thinking of that you do speak to. I just can't put together. I'm so sorry.
Now I'm trying to figure out which one of my white
Oh,
friends
Solid.
is Solid. You think Solid? Okay. All right.
I didn't know what Solid's race is or anything. I mean,
this is Logic, right? Do you know who this is?
I don't think so.
Lenny Kravitz, right? Lenny Kravitz. So, and for the other stream, I'll add the picture of Lenny Kravitz so you guys can see that. So looking at the two pictures, right? The reason why I brought this up is because both of them share something. Both of them are biracial in the sense that they have one of their parents are black, one of their parents are white, right? And you see, even though one of their parents is white and one of their parents is black, obviously the way that Logic presents to the world is as of a white man. And the way that Lenny Kravitz presents to the world is as of a black man. But they both share biracial parents. So understanding the race is not saying that you have to cast off like any portion of your family, your mother or your father, depending on what race they are. It's just simply saying understanding the social construct, that it's how you're presenting to the world. So understanding that now, looking at the pictures, thinking about your own situation, what race would you say your mother is?
She aligns more with Lenny, and my sister, who aligns more with the Logic.
Right. No, that's fine. So your mom presents as a black woman. Okay. What about your dad?
He is Native American.
Okay, so your dad's indigenous. Okay. All right. So your mom's black and your dad's indigenous.
Yes.
Okay. So based off of what we just talked about there, what about yourself? How do you present to the world? Do you present as a black woman or an indigenous woman?
I would say more so indigenous, due to, I don't present more. I would say indigenous, but my hair is curlier than, than what people would assume normally, but my facial structure presents more indigenous.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you for that. Ari, anything that I left out that we want to make sure that we call out?
Are you claimed?
What do you mean by that?
Are you yeah, are you connected to your tribe? Do you have a band?
No, I'm not connected due to my sperm donor being abusive. So I don't have any connections there. I don't.
Okay. The only reason that question is pertinent is because what happens is people tend to engage in indigenous erasure, right? Where they claim to be a part of indigenous tribes, and they have no connection to those tribes, and so they are, just basically trying to use that as like, oh, I'm this or I'm that, and really it invalidates those indigenous people that still are here today. And so we're always just really careful about that, and have that question as far as the connection, because like there's a whole history of indigenous people, specifically with like blood quantum, and then the fact that like there was a whole selling of like connection. I think is directly connected to like the Cherokee Nation. There's a whole history of non-indigenous people claiming to be indigenous, and so that's why the question is absolutely pertinent.
To actually answer that question, if I may, the tribe that I am connected to would be Lumbee Native American. They are a mixed. I'm gonna figure out how to say stuff. I'm not sure. It's multiple ethnicities that
It's a
came
multi-tribe.
together. Yes, it's multiple ethnicities that, because of where they're at, it was more so kind of got grouped together during segregation, and so it took a long time to get it labeled as as a as an indigenous Native American group, because they had to fight to prove.
Okay. All right. Well, now going through that, I want to go back to the video one more time. I think it's important to play the video one more time, especially since we've had kind of a level setting. And for all the people in the comment sections, I will reiterate what I said before. Please respect the mods. If you can't respect the mods, then you don't respect me. Please respect our space. Please respect our mods. Please do not go back and forth in the comment sections with the mods. We don't do that here. Please and thank you. Also, W's in the chat for Brooke. Brooke, thank you so much for the $1 donation. Hope you feel better soon. I am trying, Brooke, but thank you. I hope I do as well. I appreciate that, Brooke. Also, W's in the chat for Tracy, who resubscribed over on Twitch for 3 months. Thank you, Tracy. If anyone else likes to support the live, you could do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you. It's the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and we'll read that out. So just so everyone knows, this is a video that we are playing, and I am looking to get the actual reaction of the people on the panel. So give me a second.
You really
Okay.
You really don't know racism until you're in an area where it's like all diverse and you're the only white person and you can't even get a job because you're white. But only white people are racist, right?
Okay. So Dark Lamb, seeing this video again, kind of running through the actual conversation that we've had, just to get kind of a baseline. One more time, give me your thoughts on the video, which you just watched, and we'll go from there.
Well, what I'll say is, my thought process is more so that I understand why certain people believe certain things, but I also know the statements that she was making in the video do not align with what she's claiming, in my opinion.
Got it. Absolutely.
And and I know that it's highly unlikely that she's just in this area where there's no other white people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna hold my thoughts for a second. Chica, floor is yours. Tell me, what were your thoughts about that video?
Well, she makes it really hard to not or to keep it grown, as it were. I can't believe that she would act that. I'd love to see how she thinks she can quantify and square that circle, but yeah, that's just annoying.
Okay. Give me a second here. Renegade, coming over to you over on YouTube. What were your thoughts on the video?
So my first thoughts were that there is a past version of me that would have agreed with her somewhat. Not the job thing. The job thing was absolutely off the wall and unsubstantiated. But there was a past version of me that believed that white people could experience racism from people of color until I got a better understanding of what racism is, got a better understanding of how it's institutionalized. And I like the way you put it recently in another debate, that there's a difference between racism and somebody just being a jerk or even being prejudiced for one reason or another. Those are two different things. And having that better understanding, what she's saying is just ridiculous. But like, I also understand how it would have appealed to the more conservative version of me.
Yeah. I'll say this before I give the floor to Ari to steal the show. I think a lot of people lack an overall understanding of race, and so since people lack an overall lack of understanding, the way that they contextualize certain things, they just apply that all over. And the premise that she feels like she's not getting something due to someone else getting something that's just not how it works. But it's so much to it. Ari, floor is yours. What did you think about the video?
I giggled. I thought it was silly. I think it just is an overall example of white entitlement, that white people feel entitlement to access to all things at all times. And when they are denied those access to all things because society has told them that they are entitled to all things at all times. And when they denied it, they feel as though it's on the basis of their race when they do not know how racism works, right? That there's a prejudice against them, even though they are the standard. Right? Band-aids are standardized around white people. Ballerina slippers are standardized around white people. Hair products, everything are literally standardized around white people. So when they are denied access to something, oh my gosh, the world is ending, and it's because I am white. So it just shows the audacity of whiteness. But also what whiteness has allowed is that it allows white people to live without questioning their own intelligence and knowledge bases. That just because they are white, everything that they say must be true, without question. And so her experience is the end all be all. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just about to, I'll let you do it. So Former in the comment section said Band-Aids, and I like, again, it highlights the point that you were just saying as far as the end all be all. Can you explain the Band-Aids? Because I don't think they know. Like, that's the interesting part to me. Why would they ever think about it? Because that's not a thing for them. But anyway, go ahead, Ari.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a social experiment right now. W. Adorna Luke's in the chat. We can do one of my favorite social experiments that is presented by Adorna. So I want everyone in the chat to think about this, right? When we're talking about privileges, the point is not to know you are privileged, because it means you don't have to think about those barriers to access. So I want you guys to identify, especially if you are not visually impaired, I want you guys to be able to tell me how many restaurants near you have menus available in Braille. We'll give it a second for the people in the chat. I'm actually gonna look for those numbers.
While we do that, W's in the chat for Coco for the $3 donation. Coco, I saw your comment. I appreciate the 3, but it wasn't harmless. I was watching that exchange. You're one of the reasons why I told people to don't go back and forth with the mods. W's in the chat for Sonia for the $2 donation saying get better fun. Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate you. W's in the chat for Alice. Alice sent $5 donation saying not brave enough to join. And in the chat because I have low-key been crying most of the day and been up since all night. I'm sorry to hear that. The 30th of June would have been my brother's birthday. He passed away 2 years ago. Glad I can get to watch at least. Hope you're good. I'm okay. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. W's in the chat. Thank you so much for that. Again, if anyone else like to support the live and if you want to keep us going here on late nights, please consider donating. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links and link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Ari, did you get what you need?
Yeah, and I want you guys to sit with that because I actually appreciated the I don't know answers, right? Because for those who said 0, are you actually sure? And have you ever asked?
Yeah.
Do you know it is a absolute 0 in the restaurants near you that have restaurants that have menus available in Braille? Or are you just assuming 0?
Yep. It's
right.
It's that privilege where we don't have to actually think about those things. We don't have to address those things. We don't have to worry about those things. And I remember when Band-Aids, when they start making like the Band-Aids that had different skin tone, right? And I could actually get a Band-Aid that looked like my skin tone. That was a huge deal. But that's like one of those things that people don't understand how, to your point, Ari, everything is catered to whiteness.
Right.
May I
exactly.
add to that?
No, give me a second, Renegade. Sorry, go ahead, Ari.
You're okay. It's just more, it's catered towards the privileged group, right? Like seatbelts are catered towards men, right? Women are, and femme-presenting people, AFAB bodies are more likely to unalive in car accidents, not because they're terrible drivers, but the seatbelts are not catered towards our bodies, right? That these things are standardized. When we're talking about, disability, neurodivergence, right? The standards for neurodivergence and assessments within those are skewed towards white little boys. This is why overwhelmingly Black little girls have been disenfranchised and Black women have been disenfranchised from not getting the diagnoses that they need for their supports because the standards are set in whiteness. So overall, like again, the point of privilege is not knowing that you're privileged. And so not knowing that Band-Aids have not been accessible in terms of skin tones for Black people, right, and brown people is relatively new. Even prosthetics. It's actually really recent that prosthetics for people who have lost limbs are made in the skin tones of Black and brown people.
Yep. All right, Renegade, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, and it was just about the disability stuff. Before my back surgery, I couldn't handle stairs. And it wasn't until I was facing that particular adversity that I started realizing how many places are not accessible for those, not just like wheelchairs, but even people who just cannot handle the incline or the decline period. Was my issue because before my surgery, I had no stability going down unless and anyway, I that was my topper.
I think that's a great point. Just to kind of speak to a personal experience, and I've talked about this before, but some years back, I was walking through a parking lot and I got hit by a car, and I ended up having to have surgery, and I had to have 2 screws put in my knee. And in order to do the surgery, they had to cut like the tendon above my knee. And so I had to learn to re-walk, right? And so for a good portion of time, I was walking with a walker, and then I transitioned to crutches. And then once I started to be able to drive, I was given a decal so I could park in handicap parking. And it was a battle to even like be able to get from where I was to where I was. But then in other situations, like with working, even though they knew about the surgery, they knew about everything that was going on, they didn't want me to park in the handicap parking, which was such a weird thing. And I never realized, like, we all take for granted, but I truly took for granted prior to that, just the ability to go up and down stairs, just the ability to walk through a parking lot to get inside of a building. And ever since then, I've had such a understanding and appreciation. But a lot of times we don't know or notice these things or even think about it until it's either something that directly affects us or whatever the case may be. And that is, to Ari's point, privilege. All right, I want to take a whole step back for a second because Cuddy, I saw what you were saying in the floor, not in the floor, in the comment section. I did want to bring you up. I thought that you had some good information that you could pass on to Dark Lamb.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a small disclaimer. I have anxiety and I'm on the spectrum, so I'm so sorry if I get stage fright. Yeah, I'm so sorry if I get stage fright. I was here the other day. Sorry if my voice shakes a little bit. Sorry for everyone. But I wanted Dark Lamb to try to reach out to her tribe's record keeper. Thankfully, I'm blessed to have my godmother, or I'm sorry, my grandmother as my record keeper, but it would be a great way to kind of find some history and find some, just some links to your indigenous side. It's really hard to find any literature on our history, unfortunately, because it was erased and just kind of decimated by the white man, but it would be a great thing to do. If you're unsure, you can also DM me, because me and my grandmother tried to reach out to other tribes and try to figure out what their lineage is. So if your grandmother or whoever is your record keeper doesn't know, please try to reach out to me and we can try to figure it out as well. But I just wanted to say that, so sorry. That's it.
What I will say is I have, tried my best to kind of find out more about the history behind my tribe. I don't have any connections with anyone, so I might take you up on that offer of trying to find some history on it, because everyone that would probably know something I can't actually talk to. So, but I've been interested in in my lineage and everything like that for a long time. I just didn't really know how to go about it, and the only way that I know how to get information would be me having to go to said area and have to involve him to be able to get information, to be able to be fully registered into the tribe itself.
Oh, absolutely. So just a little background. I don't want to take up too much of anyone's time, but just to give you some background, I'm in Maryland, and a lot of the people here don't realize that they are Native American or connected to said lineage. And it's because it was completely erased from here. A lot of the Native American people started to kind of whitewash themselves to hide from the colonizers and started to kind of white pass and erase our history. And we had one person here that would kind of keep that record, and they try, which is my grandmother, my grandfather, and a lot of my cousins and uncles try to go to other states and help them reconnect to their roots. So it would be wonderful if you would kind of connect with me so that we can get to your state, try to help you reconnect to where you started from. It would be great if you could do that.
Yeah, I went ahead and dropped you a follow, and
Awesome.
I don't live where the tribe is at, but I have the information and everything like that, and I'm definitely open to learning more about it because it's always been something I am curious about. I just know that there's not very many people, and I'm going to put it this way, sadly, in the area that the tribe is from, a lot of them are prejudiced. So a lot of the community that I did experience, they didn't fully accept me into that area because of my mom being Black and white. So it was more so many reasons why I haven't really had a connection with that side of things.
Dark Lamb, I'm going to share something with you. I'm so sorry, Santana. I really feel like this is a great connection here. So my side of my indigenous roots came from my father, and they don't accept me because I was not indigenous. So I completely understand where you're coming from. I was able to dig deep, figure out some type of connection with other people and figure it out. So I promise you we can figure it out for you. So please DM me whenever you can, and we'll help you as much as we can. It's no guarantee with it, but we want to try to make that happen because a lot of our history has been erased and it's not right. And a lot of people don't understand that too. Indigenous people face a lot of racism or just prejudice situations that is not right. You know, it's nothing comparable to African Americans or I'm sorry, Santana or Ariel, please tell me if I'm using the wrong terminology, but it's not on the.
You're good. Keep going. You're doing a good job.
It's not on the same scale, but we also face a lot of that in talking to my grandparents and other family members from my indigenous side. They would tell me the stories of how they had to literally pretend to be white passing to be safe and not hung and not all of the same things, or not all, but a lot of the same prejudice that a lot of African Americans faced for being indigenous. So our history was erased the same way. I don't want to say same way. It was erased a lot.
I would say it's a lot of people don't understand the parallels and also like how intertwined. I was talking about this yesterday and I think some today as well. Like the parallels, or last night, the parallels between Black people and indigenous people and the history and the way the United States has caused harm. And one of the reasons why I always talk about, like when we talk about reparations, you know, people always gonna say, oh, Black people just want reparations. And I always say, if we're gonna talk reparations, we start with indigenous people, right? I mean, the fact that a lot of people may not know this, but when the colonizers came to Turtle Island, they actually killed so many indigenous people that it cooled the temperature of the earth. Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you said quiet. Sorry. It cooled the temperature of the earth. And then the actual intertwinement of like indigenous people looking to be accepted by white people, that has a long history. And then white people looking at them as second-class citizens and then relegating them to the same type of bondments, you know, selling them into slavery, where a bunch of indigenous people ended on the auction block right beside Black people. So there's a deep rooted history, and not a pretty one as well, because, you know, a lot of struggles that indigenous people and Black people have are, of course, related to the fact that at one point indigenous people actually owned slaves too. So there's just so much to it. And I think the biggest thing but on the inverse, when both of them went through the actual horrific time of slavery, you see that indigenous history started to become deeply woven in together with West African history and Black history in the United States of America. So even if you take a look at like a lot of the like art, like pottery and things like that, you see actual symbolisms from, you know, indigenous tribes, from West African tribes, and also from Black American tribes, or not tribes, but people. And like basket weaving, especially throughout like the South Carolina's huge presence, things like that. But I say all that to say it's a long, deep, windy history. It's super complex, and for a lot of people who don't understand it, they just don't really know what's happening. So
For sure. And just to piggyback off of that, Park Lamb, a lot of our history has been erased. So the best way to try to get it and try to inform yourself is to talking to people, and it might not be as easy because people have been kind of, I don't want to say brainwashed, but they have been conditioned to kind of deny what their roots are, especially for me. And I'm only speaking from experience here in my state, where they have no clue that they have any ties to our tribe or anything that we do. So I want to extend this to anyone on this live at all. If you ever come to Maryland, please look up the Piscataway Kanoi tribe. Please come to some of our powwows. Please try to learn about our culture, our language, the things that we do, the things that we believe in. Please, especially you, Dark Lamb, even if you are not from the same tribe, please try to indulge in tribes that are trying to keep our culture relevant.
Definitely. I will definitely do that. When I was, as I grew up and everything, I've researched so many different tribes and always found all these things that were like interesting and wanted to know more about it. And I didn't know anybody. So I'm definitely going to take you up on that offer. And to go back on something you did say with the prejudice that there was in that community. So just a tiny backstory, nothing too insane. So my sperm donor was 55 when I was born. My mom was 21.
Mindful of the language. Quick correction. Use the ableist term.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You use the ableist term. I'm just correcting you. That's it.
Okay,
what was
which
the
term?
term, Ari? Because I'm unaware of it myself.
The I one.
I must have missed it.
INSAN. Yeah. Like it's people say that's all right. I'm gonna just don't want to say it. INSAN.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
You can say it's wild works, things like that. That's fine. That's a good alternative.
Okay. My brain is not computing right now.
Yeah, I had to type it in order to be able to see it. And guys, you don't have to type it in the comment section. Yep, you do not have to type it in the comment section. We'll talk about that in a minute. A lot of people don't understand how those things work. But anyway, please finish your story.
So my mom was 21. The reason why I'm mentioning this, so he was around, more so with the segregation and everything like that. Whenever I was born, my mom did not know this at the time. He was married. And the reason why I say this and that it's kind of important is whenever you were bringing up not being accepted because of not being accepted because of part of your heritage being Black. One thing that his wife did was would straighten my hair, like put a relaxer in my hair without my mom's permission, and would do that, and I hated it. And she always cut my hair into bangs and everything like that, but it's like she was trying to erase the part of me that it was obvious that I wasn't fully Native American. And so I definitely know that they tried to fix my hair, quote unquote, when there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Hey, Black Lamb, I'm so sorry. Santana, I promise you I'm gonna drop down after this.
Yeah.
I just want you to know my profile picture does show me in locks, and it's because they didn't know what to do with my hair because it was very mixed texture. It's a common thing that happens with us because you see this portrayal in movies, Pocahontas and all these things where you're supposed to have straight black hair. And I've had to talk to some people in my tribe where it's just like, hey,
wait,
you know,
hold on, quick question. Are you Afro-Indigenous?
Afro-Indigenous?
Yeah, like do you also have an ancestry?
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with that term. I'm so sorry.
She is.
Yeah, my mom is African American and my father is full Native American.
Okay, yeah, it's perfectly fine to also claim Afro-Indigeneity because that helps clarify people that you're also Black, that you like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so for people, so indigeneity isn't just, for people who are learning, indigeneity is not just blood, it is culture, right? That's why you have like the white people out here saying like, oh, I'm indigenous, but they haven't reclaimed. And that's why I asked her if she's reclaimed. Because in order to be indigenous, either you have to be in the process of being reclaimed, working towards being reclaimed, or actually be reclaimed by your people. You can't just do an ancestry test, 23andMe, to claim indigenous. But also part of that is because of the rampant genocide and violence and sexual violence that was happening, there are a lot of people who are Afro-Indigenous. And so while they present as Black and maybe clock is back, they're also Indigenous. So it's also important to call out both experiences because the racism, a lot of it too, is how people treat you based on how they perceive her. They perceive her most likely as a Black woman and they're going to treat her as such. Yep. So it's her reclaiming her cultural identity of being Indigenous, but also calling out her experience of being Black.
Yep. Good call out, Ari.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So sorry. Just wanted to say the hair thing, it's a little bit of trauma for me. Don't mean to trauma dump at all, but I was just saying I fully understand where you're coming from with that. I even had to speak with my record keeper, which is my grandmother, about my hair not being as straight as she wants it to be. So with you being mixed or I'm not sure, biracial, I'm not, I don't want to say the wrong thing at all. I don't mean any harm at all.
No, all good.
Don't put too much into that. Accept both of them and learn about both of them. That's the same reason why I came on Santana's live yesterday and I told him, like, I started reading this 1619 project or started listening to it because I want to get both perspectives of both of the things that I identify with. So never feel like you have to lean more towards one or the other. You can accept both and be proud of it. And that's all I want to tell you. And again, I want to extend the invitation. If in your state, you don't have a lot of Indigenous people, please feel free. I will help you with whatever you need to get here, enjoy a powwow, and enjoy any Indigenous traditions that you can get that you can't get in your state. And I'm so sorry, Santana and everyone else. I'm going to drop down after this. I feel like I've taken up a lot of time, but I really want to stress it because, again, our history has been erased so much. It's basically non-existent to a lot of people. And a lot of African Americans don't understand too that you have some type of connection to Natives. And I want people to kind of lean into both of those things, not to force it or anything like that. But if you have it, you should learn about it and accept it and understand it and be recognized as both of those things in a loving manner. And that's all. So sorry.
No worries. Listen, Cuddy, thank you for coming up. I saw what you were saying in the comment section. I thought it was important. And this was a moment that we could actually not only teach people in general more, but Dark Glam is definitely someone that deserves the ability to learn more about who they are. So thank you for coming up. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. And actually, I'm gonna drop both you and Dark Glam down just so we can rotate a few more people in. But I appreciate both of you so much for coming up here and actually being able to share with us and go through this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Also, Cuddy. Cuddy, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here.
You're 2 for 2.
Oh,
You
what does that mean?
You
Thank you. Really?
2 times crushing it. Thank you for coming.
I have stage fright so bad, and I have autism, so I'm like shaking every time I've had the courage to come up here, Santana. I've like been so scared, but you and Ari and have made me feel so like comfortable. So I really, really, really appreciate it. I'm so sorry. I just keep apologizing, but
No,
thank
you're
you so
good.
much.
I mean, you did exactly what community is supposed to do. So thank you for
Thank
doing
you. Thank you so much, Santana and Ari. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Thank you. We're going to continue with the conversation, guys, and we're going to get a few more people in here. But before we do, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me, knock out the daily gift goal. It's the Let 'em Cooks. Can we knock out the Let 'em Cooks, please, please, please? Also, guys, if you enjoy late nights, if you enjoy what we do here, and you want to keep it going, please consider donating. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support late nights. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat, and I will read that out. We have Kay. I'm going to give Kay the floor, and then we'll keep things moving.
Hi, everyone. So this week is all about talking about humanity and how we communicate with one another. And I know that Santana mentions very often that the mods are an extension of him, but I also need to call out when we have missed the mark. There was harm done in the chat by one of our mods, and I just want to apologize for that. We want to be the best representation that we can for Santana, but there are times where we are going to mess up. And I just want you to all know that it's not something that we take lightly. And it did, Santana had no idea about the situation happening in real time. So I just need you to know that when he backs us up, it's because most of the time it's because we're fighting with people who, aren't getting it. But I genuinely apologize. And I just want you all to know that, like, your humanity is super valid, and I don't want anyone's taken away. So just, we were in the wrong, and we want to make sure that we always call ourselves out and try to learn and grow from that situation moving forward. So thank you very much. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the conversation. That was a good start. I'm so sorry I wasn't here for most of it, but I'm definitely going to rewatch it on the VOD because it sounded great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kay, for taking care of that. Thank you for setting things straight, and I appreciate it.
No problem. Have a good night.
You as well. All right, guys. So we're going to keep the conversation going. We're going to get a couple of people in here, but I do want to give the floor again to Renegade and also, or actually, let's do this, Chica. I have a question for you. For the people who did not have an opportunity to hear, can you tell them one more time what marginalized communities that you're a part of?
I'm a transgender woman, and I'm pansexual.
Got it. So, Chica, the question I have for you, and I think this will help more people kind of understand. And if this is too personal, you can say, I prefer not to answer this or whatever. But one like myth that is surrounds transgender people in general is that, oh, this is a quote unquote mental health issue, right? And a lot of people continue to actually spread that misinformation, saying that in order to be a person that is transgender, then you have to have some type of mental issue. And it's being weaponized in the sense of like people bringing up the DSM-5 and all this other stuff. Can you talk about like what that does to not only people that are transgender, but then like how that affects people as far as passing on that information that's just not true?
Well, For me especially, like, it took me a long time to realize I was trans in the first place. And then when I did start my transition, I didn't start it socially at the same time. Like, I started HRT and stuff well before I actually socially transitioned, especially at the job that I have. I came from a very small town and I moved to a bigger town, but it's still a small town and it's an oil town. So, you know, it's all truckers, farmers, and oil workers here. So I had to hear a lot of that kind of stuff like every day as just a normal conversation whenever it was ever brought up on the news. And I started my transition kind of right around that same time that in the States, the media and the right-wing pundits were really starting to like get going with that stuff. So it was really hard to hear all these people that were normally really nice to me. Like, I knew they weren't going to want to talk to me afterwards. And then, so that made that a lot harder to even just come out of the closet in the first place. I had like one person in this town that I really knew would have my back, thankfully. And that they were instrumental in me actually getting there. But it is really harmful to hear just kind of the way that the rhetoric permeates through, because people don't realize that they're parroting Alex Jones quotes just in the middle of the day, because they're all parroting the same quotes from every one of them. So
yeah, absolutely. What does that do for our society when misinformation is not only easily accessible, but also sorry. What does that do for our society when misinformation is easily accessible and readily acceptable? When people not only believe what they hear, but they hear it so often that they just take it as reality.
Well, it really harms, well, everybody in society that's part of any kind of minority group, honestly. Because like it affected me, like, as a transgender woman, hearing all this anti-trans stuff. But like, you can see the parallels where they will do the same thing with almost any minority group, especially around here. And a lot of the time, I like, especially since that was kind of when I started really deconstructing and stuff, like I just had to sit there and be quiet. And like, it's why there's a lot of people that will, you know, unalive themselves and stuff, because they hear this rhetoric all the time and they don't think they're going to have that rock that I was lucky to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Ari, I want to come to you for a second. Any additional thoughts? I would love to know what you think about like why it's specifically, right? We understand that, you know, trans people, it's not like they're new, right? They didn't just spawn, but there's an intense focus on trans people. And it's easy to say, oh, well, it's because of Donald Trump, but like, this is something that is persisting not only throughout the United States, but around the globe. And the actual attack on the trans community is a whole thing. Why do you think that's something that is more prevalent now than ever? Or is it just been something that has happened and we just never paid attention to it?
One, it's been something that has existed, right? Like Martha B. Johnson. It's the last day of Pride Month, y'all. Martha B. Johnson threw the stone for a reason, right? So it's something that's been happening, right? It's just they wanted to put a spotlight on it. We also have to highlight the connection between transphobia, homophobia, misogyny, and how patriarchy functions. And right now, we are seeing a very strong response in terms of the abolition of patriarchy, right? Overwhelmingly, it's cishet men who are creating these legislations, these laws, these policies, and who are attacking trans people, women, and queer people, right? And it's because they are fighting so hard to maintain that patriarchal power. Trans people's existence are a tribute that patriarchy and the gender binary is a bunch of cocky duty, right? Because what patriarchy tells us is that men, cis men, right, are overwhelmingly the strong, superior being, right? Especially, and that's via an arbitrary assignment at birth and how they view your genitals. And when trans women exist, right, that denies that truth, right? That just because you were born with this arbitrary assignment at birth that in doing your genitals, right, that you're superior and that you are a man. But when trans women exist, they disprove that factor, right? They disprove that just because you were born with this, that you can reject this, right? They are a rejection of being man, and men don't like that because what? I'm supposed to be superior. And that's why there's such a hard push, especially, like, we can acknowledge the attack towards trans people, but overwhelmingly it's towards trans women because trans women disprove patriarchy. And that's why, and again, men are trying to hold, especially as we see, ever since women got the right to own bank accounts and buy their own homes, we've seen this rampant progression of violence towards women continue to get worse as women are allowed to distance themselves from men, and men do not like that rejection. And rather than keep up and adapt and actually develop personalities, they rather continue to try to force women to proximity. And so they are trying to hold on to all the things that have allowed them patriarchal power. So W trans women, because they are a living existence and proof that patriarchy is BS.
Thank you for that, Ari. Chica, I'm gonna drop you down, but I want to give you the floor for anything else that you wanted to add, whether it's the topic specifically that we were just speaking on or anything that you had on your mind when you originally requested up. I know you were so patient yesterday and I didn't get a chance to get to you, and so I'm happy that you came back, and as soon as I saw you I was like, I got to get you up here. But anything else that you wanted to add?
Not real. No, it was a really good conversation. I learned a lot already. Yeah, and thank you so much for having me up.
Yeah, no.
And thank you, Ari, for speaking on trans issues as well. That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Chica. I really appreciate you. Renegade, I want to come to you for a second.
Yes, my friend.
I know you are in a unique position because as a white man, you know, the devil, no.
I ain't gonna argue with you.
You have a unique experience in the sense of like your child, but also a unique experience in the sense of being a vet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand like the after issues that vets face when like serving the country, the lack of actual care, the lack of actual support, the lack of actual help that vets receive after serving their country, right?
Oh, I'd love to talk on that for sure. It's one of my major platforms that I try to advocate for on my own stuff.
And so, well, I'll give you the floor to actually fill this out however you want. But can you talk to me about how there's a stigma around vets not being able to kind of reintegrate into society, and then people weaponize things like saying, "Oh, I have quote unquote PTSD," when that's not something that actually applies, and all this other stuff. And you see a lot of people who are vets who aren't necessarily accepted into society after their service because they're quote unquote different. Can you talk about that and how that actually exists in society today?
Yeah, and I want to front load this by saying trigger warning, talking about some mental health issues on this topic. It's going to be obviously there, and I also want to add to that effect 911. Sorry, not 911. Sorry, 988. 988 is a national hotline for crisis. If you're ever in crisis, or if anything you hear about on any of these conversations makes you feel like you need to reach out, 988 is one hell of a resource. And I'm a huge advocate for that particular service. And you don't have to be a vet to use it. They do have specialized resources that they can give to vets, but they will talk to anybody in a crisis. So to that effect, one of the biggest things that I noticed, and this started in Trump's first term, is he was systemically in the background gutting veterans protections. And at one point, even in his first term, I recall it went up to higher courts. I don't think it got to the Supreme Court. I think they just handed the decision down from the federal. But he attempted to even gut the GI Bill through executive order. And that's something that doesn't get talked about a lot, that he's been taking away the benefits of existing veterans. And meanwhile, we're about to go create new ones. I can talk on some of the other problems, especially in healthcare. The VA healthcare system is overloaded, underfunded, and understaffed, and they've been doing a lot of staffing cutbacks, including to that 988 line that took a hit. It also intersects with trans people because they specifically used to have a LGBTQ branch of that 988 hotline that specifically had LGBTQ resources, and Trump specifically gutted that out of the program, gutted over 1,000 call screeners from the program, fired them through the Doge. That was a thing that happened through Doge. So there's not enough conversation about how harmful this administration and his previous administration has been to veterans in particular.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to be said about like the amount of harm that's been caused, but when you talk about like the needs, we already understand like mental health is at an all-time high level of crisis within our country, and then reducing access to resources for mental health is like negatively impacting in so many ways, and especially when you talk about limiting the access to people who have actually put their lives on the line for our country. That's a huge thing. Talking about understanding that while you are, you know, I said you're a white man, but you're also a vet, but then without like going too deep with the conversation around your child, what do you think about the conversation that we just had with Jika, specifically the premise of like being a member of the transgender community has to be a quote unquote mental health issue? Because like, again, going back to mental health issues, I mean, that's a stigma that's being thrown on vets and also the trans community.
Yes. And I have had personal experiences with that in the past. It had to do largely with the community I used to live in. Thankfully, I sold that condo in February. I think I mentioned that last time I was talking to you. And I've been thriving since I got this new place out, and I'm pretty much off grid now, and just kind of like, thanks to my veterans disability, I'm able to just focus on me, my family, and keeping our living situation together. Even though that disability is still only running me paycheck to paycheck, it's rough, even for somebody who technically basically has UBI at this point.
Yeah.
So it's, and to the privilege you were talking about, yeah, I'm one of the people who was privileged to get access to these resources, even though they've been scaled down. And even to get the access, I had to fight. I had to have an attorney. I had to learn that there were attorneys out there that did these particular veterans cases pro bono. So that was very fortunate for me, finding representation. I can't give any legal advice, obviously, but these firms are out there actually to help veterans do their appeals with the VA to get them the benefits that they've earned. So I encourage anybody who's struggling with that, who is a veteran or as a veteran family member, to seek out one of those firms. They're out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ari, Ari, why do you think there has been a lack of resources provided in a multitude of ways because a lot of times veterans do fall within these marginalized communities, right? You see a lot of times, I know you were talking about like the being able to get prosthetics in a certain skin tone and all this other stuff, but you see veterans that deal with not only like physical and mental limitations due to their service, but society as a whole tends to try to prop the army up as, you know, these heroes. But as soon as they are disposed of and they're no longer quote unquote fighting for their country, and they, you know, join the ranks of marginalized communities, then they're easily disposed of. Why do you think that's so?
White supremacy. Dun, 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 dun. White supremacy is the word of the day. I have a beautiful little graphic. I don't have it on me now. I can maybe show it or put it in my Discord or whatever. But basically, the perfect idea within white supremacy is that of a cishet, able-bodied man, ages 18 to about 40, where that's where ageism comes to play. Ageism also connects with like ableism, because you are only as useful as I can use you for, right? And so when we're talking about soldiers and veterans, you also have to keep in mind, who is the military targeting most of the time? People in poverty, right? People who are looking for an out, who are looking for supports under capitalism. And so they are disproportionately targeting the people that they are placing into poverty, right? They are feeding their military workforce. And then they use their bodies for fodder, abuse them. So many veterans, PTSD, you name it, they fall into it. And then when they come back and are no longer able to use their bodies, of course, I'm not going to support you. You're useless now. And this is where the ableism comes into play, right? So it's literally all white supremacy. You're only as good as I can use you for. And that's literally a white supremacist mentality. And this is when we start to talk about people in terms of what they can provide to society. When we talk about being able to, like, what can you contribute, that is literally a white supremacist mindset, right? You only are valuable for how much you can contribute.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Okay, guys, we're going to start getting a few more people up here. So if you are interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and hit that request. I'm going to cycle some people in just a moment. But Renegade, before I do, I wanted to give you the floor. Anything else that you wanted to add on the subject that we have been talking about, or anything that you've heard us talk about over these last couple of nights with this topic?
I did have some thoughts on the topic you got in the lower left-hand corner, the dehumanizing language. And and it has to do with my military experience, and it's one of the things that I've been developing a chapter for my next book, which talks a lot more about my personal experiences in Iraq. We absolutely were encouraged to use dehumanizing language. And I definitely don't want to repeat all the words, but one of them started with sand and ended with the hard R. So like, and that was just acceptable and tolerable, even encouraged to regard the opposing force as less than human, because the reality is it's not easy for a sane person to take another life unless you don't regard that life as human. And so it's actually something that is pumped into the culture of the military, pumped into the culture of the soldier, of the battlefield. Like, it's not unusual for you to watch something like Band of Brothers or Saving Private Ryan and hear him refer to the Germans as Krauts, right? That's just like one of those things that is culturally ingrained in the military, and it's a really difficult thing to deconstruct from. And yeah, absolutely agree with what Ari said, that I think that has a lot to do with white supremacy and how it drives capitalism. One of the things I often talk about is the fact that a volunteer army cannot exist without poverty. It just can't. You don't get people to volunteer to risk their lives unless there is a benefit to them. It will improve their lives in some way. To study, if I'm not mistaken, in 2008, that said the quiet part loud, that recruitment drops when the economy is good. When the economy is good, it's harder for them to find people to volunteer. When the economy is bad, it's a lot easier for them to find people to volunteer and risk their lives for this war machine.
Yep. I think it speaks to the fact of how exploitative it is as a whole, and even more so, like I I've talked about the abolishment of the military, and I think that people like tend to focus on the quote unquote need for the military. I think the constant pumping into the military industrial complex continues to perpetuate the growth of the military. And you're talking about putting more bodies into the system, more money into the system, more equipment into the system, and it all has to come from somewhere. And so it's a whole thing. But with that being said, thank you so much, Renegade, for coming up. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and swap you out. Okay.
Before I leave, may I just real quick? I just want to shout out my book.
Drop it in the Discord, and then we can go from there.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Those things without vetting it first, but I appreciate you.
Valid. All right, you have a good evening.
All right, you as well. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and keep it moving with the additional people that we have on the panel. But before we do that, I want to say a couple of quick thank yous. W's in the chat, guys, for Kale, who has been a YouTube late night tuber for 15 months. Holy crap, 15 months. So, well, dang, caught late nights once more. Hope everyone is well. We are. Thank you so much for that. And then W's in the chat for Calvary, the disgusted veteran who has been a member for 8 months. Said, this long, no way. Wait, I'm assuming that was in part to another conversation. I don't remember where we were, but also sent out 5 YouTube membership subscriptions. W's in the chat. That is crazy. And W's in the chat for Michelle for the $25 donation. Michelle said, thank you for all the late nights this week. It's a lot of work, and it impacts, and your impact will continue to have ripple effects. Michelle, thank you so much for that $25 donation. That means a lot to me. I'm just glad that we're able to have some type of beneficial conversations that really will, continue to drive the community forward as a whole. W's in the chat. If anyone else likes to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you. It's the best way to support the live. If you want to keep late nights going, please consider donating. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Really quickly, before we move into the next thing that I want to cover, let's do a quick intro. Shut up, Noah. Starting with Noah. Noah, can you tell the people, are you a part of any marginalized communities? And if so, which ones?
Yeah, it was good. Same ones already mentioned, but I'm not disabled or a woman.
You can't copy.
But me
off
and Ari are
Ari's
twins.
You can't copy
Yeah.
off Ari's homework and just, God dang it, Noah, be normal. I'm not
We're
feeling well, Noah.
twins.
You can't be like difficult tonight.
I gotta out myself. Okay, black and queer communists. Damn. Sorry.
Noah, how well do you feel like you understand other marginalized communities outside of your own?
I love that question. That's actually why I requested. Not as well as I would like to. One of them, namely, is like disability studies. It's something that I keep telling myself I'm gonna get into, but I'm really not versed in, and I would like to be.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Give me a second. Thank you. Hey, Jessica, how are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing, Santana?
Good. Jessica, can you tell the people, are you part of any marginalized communities? And if so, which ones?
I am disabled. I'm a part of the queer community, and I am also a woman.
Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. And Jessica, how well do you think you know other marginalized communities outside of your own?
There's always more learning I could do, which is why I'm here. I listen to Super Solid, a bunch of other people that I follow on lives and everything like that, just to be in there and listen and just to learn more stuff. I'm wanting to read the 1619 project as soon as I have the money in order to purchase Audible.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Edith. Edith, how are you?
I would be a lot better if the chat would get tapping.
Edith does not play that. You guys heard what Edith said. Edith, can you tell the people, are you a part of any marginalized communities? And if so, which ones?
Yes, I am a lesbian and neurodivergent.
Perfect. And Edith, how well do you think you know other marginalized communities outside of your own?
I think it depends on the community. Some I know more, or some I know of more than others. But like Jessica said, always something to learn.
Absolutely. Also, yeah, that is a good call. I did see that. Spotify. I think if you guys have like Amazon Music as well, I think you can get the 1619 project. Like it's there as well. So if you use like any of these music streaming apps, you might want to check and see if it's available on those music streaming apps. Okay. So for the people on the panel, I got something that I want to talk about. And Noah, Ari, and Edith, I'm sure you guys probably already know this. But Jessica, I'm gonna come to you. And this isn't like a trick question or anything, and you might not have heard Solid talk about it, or you might not have heard this or know much about it. I know this was something new. But do you know what God dang it, why am I spacing on the word? I'm sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained this evening. Was not triangle. All right, what's the word I'm thinking about? Like when talking
Triangulation.
Is it triangulation?
I think so. I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Yeah. Jessica, do you know what triangulation? Yes, racial triangulation. Yes. Jessica, do you know what that is?
Not 100%. No, I don't really. I've heard you guys mention it a couple of different times, like with SB yesterday. I know you had mentioned it, Ari, but you didn't specify what it necessarily was, just because you wanted to see what she knew.
Yeah. So it speaks to the premise behind like other races, specifically targeting other races based off of white supremacy and how the indoctrination works as far as living within a white supremacist society. And so when you see these other racial groups that are non-white going after each other in the kind of like a surrogate for white supremacists, a whole thing, right? And so it got me thinking about how a lot of times there is harm caused from one marginalized community to another marginalized community. One thing that I wanted to have a chance to actually talk about was with the with the response, eye for an eye. Eye for an eye, speaking about the way that people respond to harmful terminology, how people actually respond to, you know, the marginalization of them. I got two videos that I want to play, and then I want to get all of your feedback on these two videos. And I want us to kind of deep dive the premise as far as why someone that would fall within a marginalized category would go after someone else in a marginalized category because they feel hurt or harmed or some type of way. So give me a second. Also, just I don't know if this fall into the total category of like a trigger warning, but I will say these videos are kind of gross. So you know, be forewarned. I guess I would say trigger warning, but they are super gross. So we're gonna start with this one.
Back in high school, this black bitch asked me why I'm gay and called me out in front of the whole class. So I told her I'd rather be gay than black.
So, that was something. All right. It was absolutely something. So obviously this this white man was part of the queer community, which is a marginalized community, and when met with the questioning his sexuality, he retaliated by directly attacking her blackness, right? I think there's so much to be said about that video, and when we talk about the patriarchal system, a white gay man is still a white man, and so the privilege that they have within those within the patriarchal system is a lot to be said. But I'm going to start with Edith. Edith, what was your reaction to that video?
I don't want to say fork found in kitchen, but fork found in kitchen, white gay man being racist and misogynistic. Yeah. Unfortunately, very common. Yeah, white queers do have a very big issue with racism, and they think that just because they are queer that they can speak on women and race, and especially black women, just however they would like to, and it is disgusting, frankly.
Okay, all right, give me a second. Jessica, what about you? What did you think about the video?
Yeah, I thought that video was gross. That does not do any good for any of the marginalized communities when it's attacking one for the other.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Give me a second. Noah, what about you? What did you think about the video?
I would love to do some linguistic reclamation right now, but I won't. But
I was listening to that as well. Like I that's the first thing that jumped out to me when I heard it, but I'm gonna keep that to myself.
I'm gonna keep it to myself as well. I mean, it's white gays doing white gay things. I think there's this like phenomenon, especially among, because I want to make a distinction, excuse me, between gay and queer. Because I don't think these two things are actually synonymous. I think queer is more so of like a, you know, it can refer to orientation, but it's like a political identity. And I think there are like, I've encountered a lot of gay men who are not queer. I don't think he would be queer, but anyways, there's a lot of gay men who feel like being gay makes it permissible for them to be like misogynistic towards women. So I think that's part of the clip. And then the anti-blackness is just him being a white person. So.
Okay. All right. Give me a second though. And last but not least, Ari. Ari, what did you think of that video?
Yeah, so I just want to also call out like what we see a lot of times, especially amongst gay men, especially amongst white gay men, is how they also co-opt like Black woman mannerisms and behaviors to do their performance of being queer, of being gay. So I just want to call that out in terms of like this Black bit, yeah, like wild work. And again, all we're doing is creating cycles of violence.
Yep.
So a white gay man is still a white man.
Yep.
Period.
All right, so I got another video that I'm gonna play, and then same thing, same order. I want to get your thoughts, so give me a second.
So a trans.
And again, guys, FYI, these videos are gross, but they are for educational purposes. I think they're important that we see and talk about these, but let you guys know up front, they are gross. All right, here we go.
So a trans woman on TikTok just said to me, and I quote, "Bleaching your hair won't turn you into a white man." Girl, you don't want to play that game.
All right. So let's talk about that one. Now, well, I will say I don't know who the person was. Oh, dang it. Sorry, I thought I turned that off. I don't know who the person was. But to me, and you know, I don't like to assume someone's sexuality, but it seems like he was part of the queer community, specifically attacking someone else as part of the queer community. And it speaks to even inside of marginalized communities that there is an attack on people within the community. But Edith, the floor is yours. What would you think of the video?
I mean, yeah. The I mean, what I can comment on is the fact that transphobia is also very rampant in the gay community. And even lesbian space is violently transphobic. Like the rest of it, just yeah.
Okay, all right. Give me a second. Jessica, what did you think of the video?
Once again, I thought it was gross, and I mean, there's no point in throwing dirt at another marginalized community when you yourself are already in one. But that just seems like it's the world that we live in nowadays, where stuff is rampant like that, like what Edith was saying.
Okay. All right, 1 second. Noah, what were your thoughts on the video?
it kind of cut out for me a little bit, but you know, I know he was being transphobic in it. I kind of have a hot take in terms of the way that like gender and sexuality relate to each other that maybe I'll withhold, but
you know what? That's a good point. That's why I said I don't like to
Oh.
assume, but you know, I get what you're saying. But go ahead
Do
and give
you?
it. Yeah, go ahead and give it.
Yeah, someone who informs, I mean, I talked to Ari about this. I think she disagrees with me a little bit, but someone who informs my understanding of gender very heavily is Judith Butler. And one of the things that she talks about is like how gender becomes legible and like what are the constitutive aspects of gender. And especially when it comes to like manhood, I think this applies to womanhood as well. But being attracted to the opposite sex and having this sort of like asymmetry within your relationship is one of the ways that like gender reproduces itself, right? And so for me, it's always like kind of weird to see, particularly like gay men being, especially feminine or like flamboyant gay men being like transphobic, because I think gayness in part, or I think actually homophobia is like derivative of trans misogyny in a lot of ways. And so it's just like, this is not helping you out, right? Because I think a lot of the harm that like gay men experience is because of the fact that they are failing at gender in a particular way. They're not embodying masculinity in the way that heteronormativity has, you know, defined it to be. So, yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going somewhere else. I'm like, never mind. But that was actually a great response. Thank you, Noah. And last but not least, Ari. Ari, what were your thoughts?
Now, why would you think I would disagree with you, Noah?
You don't think? Do you think sexuality moves you outside of like cisgender? Because I do. Not to say that there are not cisgender gay men or not cisgender like lesbian women, but to say that sexuality troubles gender. Gender loses some of its integrity.
I mean, that just goes back into like, I think sexuality in itself, if you're queer and you're in your sexuality, you are marginalized. That's how I receive that, right? And yes, Judith Butler. I also informed by Black trans feminists as well. And the most recent one we read on Marquise Bay talks about this as well, in terms of the literacy of gender performance. And so I think what Noah said absolutely holds true in the fact that, and I debate this topic, like all masculinity is toxic. And there's a difference between masculinity in terms of your gender identity. Like all men, including queer men, still identify with masculinity because that's how they know they're men. They see the performance of men and still identify with that performance, which is that of masculinity. Now there's a difference between gender identity and gender expression, right? And so where he's using these typically associated feminine words and mannerisms, that's where the gender expression comes into play. And I want to point out also, like, this is just also anti-Blackness, right? Because transphobia has roots in anti-Blackness. C. Riley Norton in Black on Both Sides talks about the history of transphobia and how that is rooted in anti-Blackness. But I think overall, I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. I'm not gonna say that trans woman is right because I don't know her race and I don't like other Black people talking towards other Black people in this, or not, like, I don't like non-Black people talking to Black people in this way. That's obviously a Black man. But Black men do just want to be white men. But that's for Black people to say. That's for no one else to say. I don't know the racial identity of that trans woman, so I'm not gonna say she A unless she's Black. And if she was Black, you aces. But if you're not Black, watch it.
Yeah. I want to take a minute to cover one more thing, and I'd love to hear from the panel on this. Before we do, really quickly, W's in the chat for Melissa for the $1 donation. God dang it, Melissa. Hold on. Melissa, oh, I got it right here. I'm gonna send it literally right now while people are talking. Let me get sorry. I'll send that right now. I got you. That was in the chat from Melissa for the $1 donation. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Also, guys, can we knock out the Let Them Cooks, please? Can we please knock out the super chats? I'm sorry, not super chats, the Let Them Cooks. Holy smokes, I am cooked, guys. I legitimately almost didn't go live, but I really wanted to be able to do this. I wanted to be here this evening, and I didn't want to short late nights. And I apologize for just like not being the best version of me this evening. But we're gonna get it together. Okay. The question I have for the panel, and I'll start with Noah this time. Noah, what purpose does it serve for marginalized communities to attack other marginalized communities instead of actually trying to find ways to uplift each other in order to fight against these systems that disenfranchise all of us?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it's contextual. Like it depends on which communities we're speaking to and like which direction like the harm is going in. But I think a lot of it is like almost like self-affirming. Like I think about this a lot in the context of Blackness. You know how like a lot of non-Black people of color are like very anti-Black, like exceptionally anti-Black. I think like even like non-Black people who are like, you know, undergoing like intense imperialist violence still find time to be anti-Black. And I think it's a ritual that sort of affirms their humanity. And I think a lot of like, particularly like in the relationship between non-Black people and Black people, their humanity is affirmed through the fact that Black people have been excluded from the category of human, right? And I think the same thing goes for like the transphobia that we see from like cis people, and from like, you know, queer people who are not, you know, trans, right? Like this is a way of sort of like affirming one's own humanity.
Yeah. I sorry, I just saw something.
Exactly what Joanna said. Yup.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be said in the sense of how that happens and why it seems to be justified, and even more so, I think that is at the overarching root of what happens within our society. So I think that's a whole thing. I want to come to you, Jessica. Jessica, can you tell me, because obviously we don't know the full ins and outs of everything that occurred within those videos, but obviously the videos were saying that they were quote unquote responding to attack on their marginalization, right? Do you think it's do you think marginalized people that's members of marginalized communities, should it be a certain way that they respond to people attacking them and their marginalization? Like, do you think that, you know, as Michelle Obama once said, when they go low, we go high? Or like, do you think that's something that should be dictated?
That's a really hard question, Santana. I do think that it definitely puts the particular marginalized community that is responding in a really harsh light when they respond without giving the other marginalized community at least a little bit of grace. There's definitely a certain way that it should be responded. I'm not on speak for the Black community because I know you guys do you, because I can't speak for that because I'm a white woman. But as far as the disabled community, I know there's a lot of people that don't fully understand disabilities, especially the invisible disabilities. And it should be, if they don't understand it, to respond with kindness to try to teach people more than just go off on them because they don't fully understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I know a lot of people, I think that's, and see, that's what I wanted to get to the heart of, because a lot of people think that that just because someone meets you at a certain level that you're supposed to in turn somehow lead with kindness or grace or anything like that. But I honestly, I don't think that's true. But I do think there is a lot to be said about how you actually do, move forward in certain situations. But give me a second. Edith, um, do you think that, especially when dealing with other marginalized communities, should you lead with grace? Is it, tick for tack? What's your stance on that? And also, do you hold it against anyone who responds to a quote unquote violent situation with violence?
Okay, so I think it depends. Like, it's always, I don't think anybody should have to be nice to somebody who is like oppressing them or meeting them with some kind of violence. I think that it might be best to stay away from like adding bigotry on top of already like bigotry being set onto you, but also like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell like Black people how to respond to racism. I'm not going to do any of that. So I don't know. But I also think that people are like with the meeting violence with violence. Again, it just depends, I guess. And I don't know. I don't think you have to be nice to anybody or always take the higher road, just mostly staying away from bigotry. Like, go ahead, defend yourself. I'm personally not going to be like, if like a trans person says something lesbophobic to me, I'm not going to say something transphobic back.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to talk about something for a half second, then I'm going to come to you, Ari. A lot of people, especially of recently, has been bringing up like the whole situation that I had when I engaged in ableism, right? And for people who may not know, back in September, I was on a panel and I was dealing with someone who was openly and blatantly racist. So much so to the point of, hitting all the racist tropes, doing things along the lines of like welfare, WIC, your dad left for milk, da 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 da, just leaned into all of the things, right? Everything short of just calling me the N-word and, slurring to run. And so I actually started to make fun of his voice, right? Said he was nasally, said he needed a neti pot because he was congested and blah, 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 blah. Come to find out, he was not, there was no actual disability. He did not have a disability when it came to the way that he was speaking. He was actually just congested. It's funny that we ended up having another debate after that, and we were able to like engage both. He and I engaged each other as people instead of resorting to those actual name callings and attacking certain things. But I learned in that moment that there is a form of ableism where you do mock people voices, right? And so for me, I didn't know that was a thing, but I did learn afterwards. And ever since that point, that's been something that I try to be super mindful of. I apologize about it. There's a whole thing, right? Videos. One of my video has like 100,000 likes. That's talking about all of it. But the point being, my reaction to the blatant racism in that moment was to strike back at something that I realize is like a flaw. And it could have easily been me mocking someone with a disability, even though it was not. And I would have even been wrong in that situation because that was something I picked to or chose to do. That's how I responded to the actual act of violence when it comes to racism. Now, with all that being said, I apologize. We move forward, blah, 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 blah. But the interesting point that has come back up has been the premise as far as like, oh, hey, you were ableist. But then there's a lack of conversation around the open, blatantly and targeted racism. So, Ari, while I don't think we can dictate to people how they respond to these acts of violence, but even more so, I think that people need to ensure that they're trying to cause as less harm as possible, but we're always harmful. Why is it that in situations where there's harm that's being caused in a multitude of ways, that it seems like people focus on one thing and not the other? Why is it that people forego the racism to talk about the perceived ableism?
I think two things can be true at once. And I think it also depends on who's in the space. And typically, when you see two harms, you're typically what you're going to see is people have more softness towards the perceived privileged person. So if you, in your instance, in what you just shared with us, the individual, I'm assuming is white. You have two men have the same gender identity, but one is black, one is white. You're going to see more softness towards whiteness compared to blackness. So any harm that is done in the name of whiteness is going to be overshadowed by the fugitive state of being black. I'm trying to get Noah to start saying the word fugitive. I'm also trying to get Solid to start using, because you all use degenerate. I like the word fugitive. But that's what being black is. It's being fugitive. It's being deemed criminal. And so anything you do is already in a hyper police state. And then anything outside of that is addition. You haven't been on that. You've been using the word degenerate. Anyway, anything past that, it's going to be further criminalized. So that's the case. Does that negate both harms? No. I think the biggest thing is that we take into account our mistakes, because what I do see a lot of times is people go, well, what about them? What about them? Well, what about them? Why aren't you holding them accountable? And that doesn't show any growth, right? And I think instead of doing that, we need to focus on our own growth and our own harms. We understand that person did harm, but how does that help you grow? By focusing on them being held accountable, right? So I think the most important part is for us to recognize our harm. We can't boast, just like with children. I always make a reference back to children. Like, I can't force a child to apologize, right? Because that also ruins the point of learning what an apology means. An apology has to have change behind it, not just a word. And when we force people to do it just for performance, and it doesn't mean anything. So you can't force the other individual to do anything about the harm they did. All you can do is control your actions, what you do forward, moving forward, and actually move for change.
Absolutely. I think you teed me up perfectly for the last question that I have for you guys, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start to drop you down. But Edith, coming back to you. Understanding that we can control what we can control. We can control ourselves. And while we are all actively harmful in different ways, we have to fight to actively be as least harmful as possible. What ways do you think that you have either learned, heard, or tried to exhibit to reduce harm to communities that you aren't a part of?
Sorry, I cleared my display and then couldn't figure out how to get the thing back. Could you ask the question again? Sorry.
Understanding that we all have a tendency to be harmful, we actively try to be as least harmful as possible. What are some of the ways that you have learned, exhibit, or try to ensure that things that you try to ensure that you do to be as least harmful as possible to other communities?
Well, I try to, I don't know. I just kind of think before I speak. Believe it or not, guys, I do that sometimes. And just kind of being somewhat educated on the types of bigotry and like some 5-second rule. Ari has some of us on a 5-second rule. I'm not one of them though. I'm not one of them. But just kind of understanding how certain bigotries work, and just kind of thinking before I do or say something. Think, is this possibly going to be harmful to somebody? And then if the answer is yes, then just don't do it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Edith. Edith, anything else that you wanted to add to anything that we've talked about, or something that you wanted to share before I drop you down?
Yeah, just one thing, and that is no kink at Pride.
Take a nap, Edith. Come on.
I was waiting for you to say something.
Are you kink shaming?
I'm not kink shaming, but I am kink asking why.
Bro.
Did you guys hear the story that I told the other day about my experience with my neighbor in the Pride Parade?
No, I missed it.
Okay. I don't think my mom's watching, so I get to say the words that I want to say. So, it's neighbors in the building that I live in, and I engage with them all the time. I've seen them around the building. We've had like general conversations. No big deal, right? And my neighbor is just a normal guy, nothing special, whatever. And so I'm leaving out of my place the other day, and I'm walking down the hall, and him and some of his friends were actually getting ready to head out to the Pride Parade, right? And so they walk out, and they're all dressed up or whatever, and they super excited about it. And my neighbor specifically, he had on like a fishnet shirt or whatever, and then he also had on a fishnet shorts, right? And we were walking that way. They saw me, I saw them, and so we were all walking down the hall together. My neighbor turns around, and my neighbor's entire ass is out. Just like ass, right? I was like, okay, happy Pride. Well, so now I'm walking down the hall, and we all walk down and get in the elevator together. And my neighbor, who lives like literally beside me, who I've talked to multiple times, just ass everywhere. So that was just an interesting thing. So, oh well. Yeah.
No ass out at Pride.
Santana's strict. This is crazy.
Whatever. It was funny. I was like, okay. Anyway, Edith, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate you, and especially having you on twice this week. That's awesome.
Yep.
And you got her to moderate your chat.
She was.
Yep.
Did you see? Hold on. Did I take that? I took that. Oh, that was a quick flash. I got flagged for that earlier. Oh,
yeah, that one was not me.
Yeah, no, the one that when I was showing, that was the new dump. Did you see like the eagle or whatever? You know, he has like that. Yeah. And it's modeled right after that. That got me a flag earlier. That's why I had to end so quick. Yeah, actually, you being funny. Actually, can we take a second? There's still like almost 600 people here. Let's get now you said, let's get everybody over 100 coins on the panel immediately, chat. Because these people up here have been absolutely amazing. I'm going to give you all a few moments. Take care of the people on the panel. Every single one of them. They have been adding to some amazing conversations. So please, please, please show every single person on this panel some love. W's in the chat for Dark Lamb. Hey, W's in the chat for Dark Lamb with the $5 donation saying, thank you for allowing me to be a part of the conversation. I'm thankful for both you and Ari for informing me on terms regarding race and ethnicity. Maybe I can join tomorrow night to speak about disabilities / ableism. Thank you. You can, but there's a caveat to night 4, and I'll talk about it in a minute. There's absolutely a caveat for night 4, in which people who are in the community, you guys know what we do on night 4, but we'll talk about it in a second. W's in the chat for Shiro, I think that is, who became a late night tuber over on YouTube, and W's in the chat for Jarrett, who became a subscriber or resubscriber over on Twitch with your Amazon Prime subscription. W's in the chat. Guys, if anyone else likes to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you. It's the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. That's right. Keep showing all the people on the panel all the love, because they deserve it. This has been an intense conversation, and I really appreciate them all helping get me through this evening, because I have been struggling. Anyway, Edith, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate you.
Of course, and if you need somebody to yell about no kink at Pride, I'm always available.
Okay, have a good one. Jessica, coming back to you, same question, and like, what can you do to make sure that you're actively trying being as least harmful as possible to other marginalized communities that you're not a part of?
Well, usually what I try to do is I try to, like what Ari was saying in the comments, like taking a few seconds without reacting on impulse. One of the things that I also do is that sometimes like I'll close down the app, or I'll walk away from the situation so that I don't end up blowing up at somebody, and then saying things that I don't need to say, and or attacking them with their character, with how they look, just different things like that, and then coming back to the situation later, if it still needs to be discussed, or if it's still like on my mind and I need to discuss it with someone, just so that I can still express myself without being too rash, especially if it's somebody that I don't want to intentionally hurt.
Yeah, I think that's important, and understanding like intention only matters to the person that's doing it, and so we have to like actively be aware of the harm that we can cause. And I think that starts with education, and then to Ari's point, like taking accountability. I think that's a huge thing, and once we're able to take accountability, then we can grow and be better, and then actively try to make sure that we are not perpetuating these harm stereotypes, emboldening these systems. So much to it. But Jessica, thank you for that. Anything else that you wanted to share or say before I let you down? Anything about the things that we talked about, or anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I did want to add, so when I was talking a little bit earlier about like coming at people with kindness. I was really only meaning that with people that are generally interested in wanting to learn, kind of like what you have done and Ari have done. I mean, if somebody's generally willing, wanting to learn about certain things, I have no problem in like letting them know about certain things. But if it comes to a point where they're just not getting it, it's going straight over their heads or anything like that, I will literally just choose not to engage with them more often than not. Because there's no point. There's no point in me putting in my energy and my effort for that. I will usually just walk away, have no contact with them. I've had to do that with several people in my life. So
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that you are better than me because I always actively look for conflict. It's kind of hard for me to say no. But Jessica, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, and I'm going to drop you down, okay?
yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me up.
Thank you. Noah, what about you? What do you try to do, practice, preach, live by when it comes to ensuring that you are not harming other marginalized communities?
One thing I've been trying to do is like be mindful of my own positionality, because I feel like there's a disparity in the way that I am externally perceived versus how I like internally identify. And so I'm always trying to be like mindful of that in terms of how I engage with other people.
Ranch versus blue cheese.
Who said that?
I gave the analogy last time. You don't remember my analogy?
Oh, that I'm like not palatable and I'm gross?
Oh, wait, not ranch versus blue cheese. That was another analogy, but blue cheese. Yes, you're blue cheese. A lot of people,
That's pejorative.
have like this, like outside view of blue cheese, and they're like, ew, blue cheese. But then when they try it, they're like, blue cheese. So that's Noah. And no, he's not moldy. He's just an acquired taste.
Moldy. The acquired taste is mold.
But once you realize it, yeah. Anyway, no, I think that's a good thing. I think a lot of times the way people perceive us is, you can't really control how people see us, but we can control ourselves. But more than that, just making sure that we aren't inviting those like negative things that would actually make it harder to engage with people. I think that's a great thing. So it's a good call out. Noah, what else? Sorry. What else do you have? Anything that you wanted to add to anything that we talked about, or anything else that you wanted to mention?
Nah, I don't think so. This is a good conversation. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming up and adding. Thank you for taking it easy on me tonight. I am not my best, so appreciate you.
No, I got you. Feel better.
Yeah, all right, have a good one. And last but not least, Ari, what are you doing to actively ensure that you're not being harmful to other marginalized communities?
Yeah. So one, I just want to let everyone know in my live, especially with the men, this really has to be implemented with the men. We have a 5-second rule. We have to, that you think 5 seconds before you speak. Overwhelmingly, it's very beneficial for the men, because they don't think a lot before they speak. Even for the friendlies, sometimes I'm like, yeah, not. Think about what you're about to say. Give it 5 seconds. And then think again. But for me, this is literally what I teach on in my classes. And Santana's chat, and Santana for having me up earlier when I said, wish me luck. I had a fantastic class right after I got off with you guys.
I was going to ask you about that. Management was saying, what Ari said she had to do? I said she had to go teach. She's like, oh, I hope you weren't taken away. I'm like, no. So that went well?
It went extremely well.
Awesome.
The class went so fluid. It went really well, and it's really hard sometimes to get student engagement, but they were very engaging today. So that was an amazing class. So thank you for all the friends that wish me luck today teaching.
It's awesome. All right, Ari, anything else that you wanted to speak on that we have talked about this evening, this week, or anything that you've had on top of mind that you want to share? Floor is yours.
But yeah, for me, in unpacking all your biases, isms, and phobias, it's literally really important. Like, yes, the 5-second rule helps, but the point of the 5-second rule for all of us, including myself, is to interrogate a thought, interrogate an idea, interrogate where did I get that from? So yesterday we were talking to someone and I said, or earlier I was talking to someone and I said, when you have someone racist in front of you or a family member, to ask them where you got that from. That also counts for yourself when you're interrogating yourself, and you should be doing regular interrogations of yourself and your thoughts, right? Because white supremacy, the vicious thing about white supremacy is implicit bias, and that is subconscious. So really interrogating those thoughts, I do it to myself literally right before I go to bed. I start thinking about my day and what I have said to people, and if I could have been better, if there was bias. Am I ever going to be perfect? The answer is no. But again, the goal is to be safer every day for the people I love and care about, and for the abolition of white supremacy. So doing self-interrogations and interrogating your own thoughts and where that came from is going to be really important for us to be liberated. But overall, just remember, guys, I run a book club. Links are in the bio, 21 plus Discord. It's a chill Discord, pressure-free, because it's also for us to unpack the literacy trauma our education system has done. So all you have to do is join the Discord. You have to apply, because no Nazis.
No Nazis.
But it's for no Nazis, but it's for those who want to unpack white supremacy, capitalism, sexism, ableisms, all the isms and phobias, and educate yourself. We take book suggestions, and then we vote on the books as a book club. So it's not me just dictating all the books, even though I will vet the books you suggest. But we do vote on them as a community on which book we're going to read next. And then we read it. Even if you vote on the book, that does not mean you have to read it. It's not a requirement. You can have read 1 page, 0 pages, or the whole book. You can still join book club, listen to the discussion, and add your own life experience or what you know to the conversation. And also during those book club meetings where we meet once a month to discuss a book, you can enter into our free book poll, the raffle, or I don't know if we're allowed to say that, giveaway.
Say what, raffle?
Yeah.
Yeah, we say
They used to
raffles all the
censor.
time.
They used to say that. They used to censor themselves. They used to go waffle.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Like, what do I not say?
I don't know. Well, raffle. Yeah, we like, if you want to enter the raffle, all you have to do is join the book club. Say, hey, I want in on the raffle. During the meeting, and I will enter you guys into our spin the wheel, and we will spin the wheel, and whoever gets it, our latest book winner, not only got a physical copy of the book sent to her house, she also got an audio book, because that's what best supports her. And so literally when I'm saying we're going to give you the book that supports you in your educational and your reading journey, it's whatever supplies necessary. If you need a digital copy plus an audiobook, if you just need the digital copy, if you need a physical book plus an audiobook, or you just need the audiobook, that's what book club is for. And that's why we do the book giveaway, because the purpose and the goal is to make reading accessible. But that's it for me.
2 things, guys. One, can you guys please show Ari some extra love? Can we get her over 3,000 coins? The reason being, Ari has been up here with me all night. And Ari, I didn't directly say this to you, but when I saw you in the request, I was like, I am going to lean on you to get through this live as long as you're going to be here. And you were absolutely amazing. I appreciate you so much, because, like, honestly, there's no way that I would have been able to do this live this evening without like your help and support, and like really guiding this conversation, because as soon as I finish this live, I'm going to bed. Like I told management before I started the live, I felt like crap. That's another reason why I started so late. I was hesitating whether we were even going to have this live this evening. And just seeing you in the request, I appreciate you so much, because like I said, there was no way we would have been able to do this tonight without your help. So thank you.
Can I tell you a secret real quick?
Yeah.
I saw the glasses and I knew, and that's why I requested.
You know, it's funny. Kay did as well. Kay swiped in and then immediately sent me a message on Discord. She was like, "Oh, you wearing your glasses? You're not feeling well." Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. One last thing, guys. while Ari did mention book club, and Ari did mention like using the link and getting in there, one thing that Ari did not mention, even with like the monthly book club giveaway, is that she pays for those books out of pocket. She takes care of those costs out of pocket because it's so important to her. And if you guys have been enjoying like me talking about the reading journey I've been on, sharing the information that I've learned, the knowledge that I've been able to learn, like I know you guys, like you guys are picking up on the books that I'm reading now. Now someone told me that they're going to start reading like every book that I'm reading, and I'm like, okay. But if you guys appreciate that, not only follow Ari's or join her Discord, but please, her pay links are in the link tree in the bio. If you can spare anything, there's still 637 people hanging out here, and then between YouTube, Twitch, it's like we got about like 800 people. If you all send $1 to Ari's pay link, that would add so much to being able to grow and sustain the book club. I think that's something that's so important. One of the reasons why I have Ari talk about it so much is not because it's just personal to me and like the journey that I've started on, but I think it's something that's like missing, not from just our community, but from our society as a whole. And so when you have someone who's actively trying to benefit everyone in a free way, which is wild, we got to make sure that we take care of the people that take care of us. Ari should get a Venmo. Ari should get a Venmo, but whatever.
Okay, here's the thing. Y'all keep yelling at me. I have the most accessible pay link. Buy Me a Coffee has Apple Pay. Do you have Apple Pay, Santana?
I don't know what Buy Me a Coffee is, but I do have Apple Pay. I use it all the time. I pay people for stuff that I get. I just tap, boop.
Right, but my pay link has that. And so when people yell at me like, oh, you need to get, I have Buy Me a Coffee. You can literally use Apple Pay on that.
Yeah. Guys, please. I mean, if you can spare $1, the amount of us that are here right now would do so much good and be able to help progress a cause that is so important. We have to take care of the people that take care of us. Like literally, we have to take care of the people that take care of us, and this is one of those times. So make sure you guys show some love. Ari, I appreciate you so much for coming up and hanging out this evening.
No worries, I got you. I hope you feel better. Have a great rest of your night and get the rest you deserve, friend.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, guys. We are calling it. I appreciate you all so freaking much. So freaking much. Tomorrow evening, we'll be back for night 4 of Late Nights with Santana. And if you look at the background says in the corner, it says Back to the Future. And what Back to the Future means, for anyone who knows how we do things here within our community, night 4 is always about solutions. It's not about problems. It's not about gripes. It's about solutions. So with joining tomorrow, if you're joining the panel, be ready, bring solutions. We are going to talk about the history of these actual systems and terms, and we're going to talk about how can we all work together to not only break these systems, but better ourselves. So please be ready tomorrow, Late Nights with Santana, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. It is about solutions. It is our call to action. Night 4 is always our call to action. So be ready when you join the panel. I need to know what you got to help us all be better. All right. I will be back in the morning. I think, I hope I will be back in the morning for sparring with Santana, some debates. I'm trying. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. We're just gonna hit this music and go, guys.
Yeah, this ain't your regular panel. Nah, we speak the truth. Late Nights with Santana and Mama Jones watching. Better keep it clean. Let's go. Late Nights, truth in the convo. Everybody get a seat at the table. From the block to the books, we mindful. No screaming, just dreams and the Bible. One mic, one voice, we build bridges from the heart of the hood to the world's big issues. Politics, pay, different cultures, but the real ones listen before they rebuttal. Late nights with Santana, yeah. Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this a purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot, but we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Yeah, late nights with Santana.
Hey guys, it's really good night. It's really good night, and I appreciate the ability to give us those guys. I think this is one of our best conversations, and I really appreciate the thought and engagement that everyone put into it. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. We have really been working on something this week, and I think this is going to help set the foundation to ensuring that our community is stronger. We have a long way to go. I have a long way to go, and I just really hope you guys come with me. I plan on growing and being better, and I just hope you guys plan on growing and being better, because I can't do it without you. So, thank you all for hanging out this week. Thank you for all the listeners, likes, and shares. Thank you all for being absolutely amazing. I appreciate and love the hell out of you, part of our community. I'll see you all in the morning, and as always, peace.